Hello friends, welcome back to our next session of e-learning. My name is Vijay Sonar and I am from RC Patel Pharmacy College. So as we have started the online lectures, so as some of you have told me that post your video on YouTube, so I will try to make more and more videos and I will try to post them on YouTube. So in the today's lecture, we will try to summarize in short how HPLC works and what is the principle behind HPLC, and we will try to see a bit about the instrumentation of HPLC. So this is your syllabus. If you check your syllabus of final year B Pharm, pharma analysis, so this much topics you must cover. Already in our previous few lectures in the beginning of the academic year, we have covered this chapter. So in this session, within a span of 10 minutes, I will try to summarize how HPLC works, what is the principle of HPLC, and with the help of some animation, we will try to understand, to have a glance, how HPLC works. So it is a form of liquid chromatography used to separate compounds that are dissolved in a solution. So basically in HPLC, we use a high pressure to push down the mobile phase through a column of stationary phase, which allows the separation of complex mixture with high resolution. This HPLC instrument, it consists of a mobile phase, a pump, an injector, a separation column, and a detector. So compounds are separated by injecting a sample mixture onto the column. The different components in the mixture, they pass through the column, and the separation is purely based on their difference in their partition behavior, or we also call the term as partition coefficient or distribution coefficient. So based on the different affinity for each component towards stationary phase and towards mobile phase, we got the separation. The mobile phase that you use here must be degassed, just to eliminate the formation of other gases and air bubbles. So let us try to quickly understand how HPLC works, what are the different components of HPLC, the different types of HPLC chromatographic method, and we will try to see in short the different type of detectors used in HPLC. So this is a simple diagram of HPLC as we have seen also in our lectures. You need a column, a sample injector, you need a pump and a detector system. So basically HPLC is a modified column chromatography. As we know, in column chromatography you need a column, you need a mobile phase, a stationary phase. Or stationary phase generally uses silica, alumina or modified cellulose. So cellulose, silica, alumina. And in HPLC, what the difference you have is you have a pressure here. So if you just simply apply high pressure to a column, you can get an HPLC. Stationary phase used are silica, alumina and cellulose, which are having very small particle size, so obviously large surface area, and this gives you a better resolution. The meaning of resolution is you get the clear separation of two peaks or two components here. So different components of HPLC column. So you need a column which is a stainless steel. It can withstand a pressure up to 50 megapascal. The length could be vary from 5 to 25 centimeter, and the internal diameter would be 4.5 mm. The dimension will vary according to the column. The flow rate can as long as high as 1 to 3 ml per minute. So stationary phase, as we have seen earlier, there is one adsorbent material which has a very small particle size. It could be chemically modified silica or divinyl benzene, for example. So these are some of the stationary phase which are tightly packed inside the column, and because of the small particle size we get a larger surface area. We also need a mobile phase. Of course, when we talk about chromatography, we need a stationary phase and a mobile phase. So the solvent system or mobile phase, the selection of the mobile phase, either polar or non-polar, it is depend on the type of sample or type of mixture that we want to separate. it is depend completely upon the polarity of the compounds. So with the to this system of reservoir you apply high pressure, which will pull down the mobile phase inside the column with high pressure. Just before the injection you have a sample injector just before the column so that you can inject the sample, and then once the compounds has been eluted you have a detector. So detectors of HPLC are UV detector, IR detector, refractive index, mass spectrometer, or electrochemical detector. So these are some of the type of detector that are used in HPLC, and once your compound has been detected you can have the graphs or chromatogram. So when you start the sample elution, the compound gets separated and you get a peak, a different peaks like this, and the graph is plotted with respect to time. It is called as chromatogram. So how HPLC work and how we can determine the standard. So say for example I applied glucose to the column and I have the peak at 5 minutes and then similarly I have another sample I have injected is sucrose and I got a peak at 8 minutes, and then now I have injected an unknown sample here and I got these three different peaks at 2 minutes, 5 and suppose 9.5 minutes. So I can easily say that the peak at 5 minutes is of glucose, and as there is no peak at 8 minutes, it means glucose is present in the sample, unknown sample, and sucrose is absent obviously. And these two peaks, they are obviously unknown peak because we don't have any reference standard. So one thing to note here is you must need a reference standard when you have to compare the different peaks, okay, here to find out the unknown compound. Now how we can find out the unknown compound concentration by using HPLC? So for this you need to create a calibration curve. So what I mean here is we have to prepare different dilutions of same compound and then we have to record. So with the increasing concentration the area under curve increases, as obviously there will be more moles of the sample, and then you plot a peak of unknown sample and then you simply have to compare the area under curve. So if you are able to compare by measuring the area of glucose peak in unknown sample and comparing it with the area of standard, that is glucose, the unknown sample you can determine. Now types of HPLC. Normal phase HPLC, the first one. Here the stationary phase is polar while mobile phase is non-polar, because as the silica has OH group it will give more polarity to the stationary phase. So in this case what happens is polar molecule, non-polar molecule, sorry, they will move down the column. On the contrary, in the reverse phase, stationary phase is non-polar, mobile phase is polar. So as we know the principle of like dissolves like, so polar molecules will move down the column with the mobile phase. So as we know the principle of like dissolves like, so in the reverse phase HPLC, as we know the stationary phase is non-polar and mobile phase is polar. So what will happen is the non-polar molecule they will stick to the column while the polar molecules they will move down the column with the mobile phase. So this is what the difference between both the HPLC reverse phase and normal phase. In normal phase stationary phase is polar. Now size exclusion chromatography. So this topic I have discussed in my earlier video. Only I can summarize this here. The separation is based on the size. The stationary phase have this porous bed, small molecule enter the pores of the beds while larger molecule they remain outside. So this way you can separate the compounds based on their size, and that's why the name is called as size exclusion chromatography. Next is ion exchange HPLC. This also I have discussed in my earlier video, just refer back. Here I can summarize this. The separation is based on the charges of the molecule. If the molecule have the negative charge, you can use the stationary phase with the positive charge. So just based on the charges, the separation will occur. So this is all about the summary of chromatography. For the details, I have shared you some of the PPTs and notes. So just refer back to it. And if you have any problem, you can put me a message on my WhatsApp number, or you can text me in the comment box. And if you are liking my videos, so please subscribe the channel, do watch my videos, like and share. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching the videos, and happy learning chromatography. Bye bye.